Welcome back to Arc Salt Lake, where we cover authentic, relevant, and community stories. It is now 7:30 on this Thursday.
Well, a nonprofit is redefining the day of 9/11 from one of the tragedies to acts of service, and there is a chance to help here in Utah to make the most of it.
Yeah, the president and co-founder of the nonprofit 9/11 Day, David Paine, is joining us live on Zoom this morning. And David, first of all, thanks for joining us. But
good morning.
How did you come up with this idea for the nonprofit to base it on such a tragic day?
Yeah, I had a very good friend of mine, Jay Winnick, who lost his brother Glenn in the collapse of the World Trade Center South Tower, and his brother was a volunteer firefighter who raced in to help people, who needed his assistance without regard to his own well-being, and unfortunately lost his life when the South Tower collapsed. And very soon thereafter, Jay and I got together with other 9/11 leaders, and we said, how do we take this day back and turn it into something good? And we were all inspired by the way the nation put aside its differences, right after 9/11, when we weren't red states or blue states. We were just Americans and human beings who wanted to help. And that became the inspiration for turning 9/11 into a national day of service, which is what it is today.
Now, I guess you're working in 24 states now?
Well, the 9/11 Day of Service itself is a nationwide program.
Great.
And there are more than 30 million Americans that get out and spend that day doing all sorts of good deeds. Our organization runs these large-scale volunteer service projects in 24 cities today. And of course, Salt Lake being one of the new cities that we added this year, we're super excited about that. And we have so many great partners and organizations that are participating to help make that possible.
Okay, so Salt Lake City, where can do you want people to show up and help out today? And what's the project specifically here in Salt Lake?
Well, it's being held at the Huntsman Center, and we're expecting about 500 volunteers or more that will be packing close to 200,000 meals that will be donated to the local food bank that serves the Utah community. Right now it's pretty full, but people who might be interested can certainly send an email to us at info@911day.org, and we might be able to squeeze you in at the project. We're also really excited about the fact that there's 100 students from BYU and 100 students from the University of Utah. Despite their bitter football and other sport rivalry, they're actually coming together in unity to help pack close to 70,000 meals themselves during the course of the project.
Okay, so I guess you're transforming this anniversary into probably one of the largest days of service.
Yeah, it is remarkable to see how, even now, 24 years later, Americans still, I think, for them, still want to find a way to pay tribute and remember 9/11 in some sort of positive way. And what's really remarkable for us is that 100 million Americans today are under the age of 25, that have no memories of the attacks, and yet they consider this to be a very important day to bring out the goodness and the kindness that we all are naturally sort of endowed with at the moment of birth.
And so they kind of have to learn about that tragic day in history, and then why it's so important to give back to the community, because we came up with that. And it is, like you said, it was nice to see the whole country come together after that.
It was the thing that really, I think, led me to want to do this, to be completely honest with you. I mean, really leading up to that moment, we were a pretty divided nation politically, just sort of as the way we are today. And then the minute 9/11 happened, of course, we immediately forgot about all those kinds of superficial differences, and I think began to look at each other and realize that we're really just essentially brothers and sisters living on this planet together. And I hope that 9/11 Day, at least one day out of the year, can continue to pass that really important message on to the next generation of Americans, so maybe we can find ways to resolve our differences a little bit more peacefully.
And this event that we've been talking about kind of keeps it more fresh on our mind, because we know in time these types of things start to fade. People don't know as much about it, younger generations. So I guess this is probably a main goal of it as well, besides the service.
Exactly. It is very important that, that we keep alive the spirit of togetherness and unity that we experienced right after 9/11. Our goal, of course, was to keep the promise that we all made, 24 years ago to, quote, never forget. But we also knew that if we were going to really do that, we had to redefine the day. We had to turn it into something other than just a day where we thought about the horror of that day and the loss of life. We needed to also turn it into something that the next generation would want to be part of. And we certainly encourage everybody to go to our website, 911day.org, to learn about what else they can do themselves. They don't have to come to the meal pack. You know, there's all sorts of lesson plans and teachers' guides and parenting guides that are free all on our site. Lots of ways in which people can get involved.
And you are here in Salt Lake, the big effort going on today. What else is going on around the country from now until September 11th?
Yeah, so the project that we're staging, of course, will be on September 11th, the morning of September 11th, and we'll be doing the same thing all across the country in these 24 other cities. We'll have close to 30,000 volunteers, and again, this is just people participating in our events, and we'll pack close to 9 million meals for Americans who are in need of food assistance. And you know, today hunger continues to be one of the most significant issues that our nation is facing every single day.
Yeah, and history must be really special to your heart, just looking behind you there, historical photos and memorabilia.
You know, it's funny, my wife framed all that for me one day when I went on a business trip for about a week, because it'd been like sitting in my attic, you know, and I didn't really do anything with it. And it was really great to see all this, you know, all of the articles and memorabilia. I even have like a World Wrestling belt.
Oh.
You can't see it, but there it is, you know, that was given to me because the World Wrestling Federation at the time was the first sporting organization that had any kind of an event after 9/11 in 2001.
Okay.
So yeah, they're all very meaningful to me, but I think what's more meaningful are just all the good deeds that people do every single day when 9/11 rolls around.
Well, perfect backdrop for this interview.
Right. Well, David, thank you very much. It's great talking with you, and hopefully we've inspired some people to get out there and show service in remembrance of what happened.
Thanks
well,
so
thank
much.
you very much, and I hope people follow the idea of doing one kind act a day. That really is what can make a difference.
That's
Thank you.
all it takes. All right. Thank you.